The sun hung low over the dusty plains of Hollow Creek, baking the cracked earth until it shimmered like glass. The air was thick, heavy with the smell of dry hay, sweat, and something else, tension. In the middle of the old rodeo ring stood a chestnut horse, strong and proud, with a white stripe running down his nose like a scar of honor. His name was Thunder, and he was trembling. No one moved. No one spoke. Then a boot, heavy, black, kicked Thunder hard in the ribs. Thud. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Thunder collapsed, legs folding, head dropping into the dirt. A deep, guttural sound escaped him, not a cry, not a scream, but something worse. Something that carried pain no animal should ever know. And the man who did it? He didn't flinch. He was tall, dressed in a leather jacket, gold chains glinting under the fading sun. Cold eyes, a smirk, a man who thought rules didn't apply to him. They called him Vince Crow, a ruthless gangster passing through town, leaving fear in his wake. He looked around, daring someone to speak. No one did. Old ranchers gripped the fence, knuckles white. Kids turned away. Even the rodeo crew froze, caught between duty and dread. But Vince didn't see him. At the far end of the arena, leaning against a weathered wood, stood a man named Silas Reed, hat low, face lined with years of wind and quiet sorrow. He didn't shout, didn't move, just watched. His eyes, steel gray, sharp as broken glass, locked on a Thunder. That horse wasn't just an animal. He was a last gift from Silas's wife, Clara, before the sickness took her. Thunder had been there when the house went silent. Thunder had stood in the barn every night, breathing steady, reminding Silas that he wasn't alone. And now, someone had kicked family. Silas felt it deep in his chest. Not rage, not yet. Something older. Something that had been buried for years. Grief. Loss. And now, a slow, quiet fire beginning to burn. Vince had made a mistake. Not just because he hurt a horse, but because he thought no one was watching. He was wrong. Silas stayed long after the crowd left. The dust settled. The sky turned purple. Thunder stood again, weak, limping, but alive. Silas walked over, hand gently resting on the wooden fence. "It's not your fault, boy," he whispered. Thunder lifted his head slightly, eyes meeting Silas's, as if asking why. Silas didn't have an answer, but he knew one thing: this wouldn't end here. That night, Vince sat alone in the back of an abandoned auto shop, a warm beer in one hand, smoke curling from a cigarette in the other. The single bulb above flickered like it didn't want to stay on. He kept seeing it, Thunder falling. He told himself it didn't matter. Just a horse. Just an animal. But something about the way the horse looked at him, not with fear, but with shock, it stayed with him, crawled under his skin. On the wall, a faded photo. A young Vince, maybe 10, standing beside a little boy. His brother, gone now. Both smiling, but not really. Just pretending. His mother had left when he was young. No warning. No goodbye. Just silence. He learned early. People leave. Trust gets you hurt. So he built walls. Became hard. Cold. But pain doesn't stay buried. It waits. Meanwhile, Silas sat on his porch, coffee long gone cold. He hadn't told anyone what he saw. The town didn't like trouble. They liked peace, or the idea of peace. But peace doesn't heal bruises. And Thunder, he wasn't just hurt on the outside. Silas saw it. The way Thunder flinched at loud noises. The way he avoided eye contact. Trauma doesn't just live in people. It lives in animals, too. That night, Silas went into Clara's old sewing room, a place he hadn't entered in years. Inside a drawer, he found a notebook, and inside a photo. A little boy, maybe 5, feeding a chestnut foal with a white blaze. The same horse. The same face. On the back, Clara's handwriting. Boys and horses, they feel each other's pain. Silas froze. The next morning, he drove into town, went to the sheriff's office. Vince Crow, he said. The sheriff sighed. Trouble. Came from the city. Says he's just passing through. Silas asked to see the intake form. And then he saw it. Mother's name, Lena Crow. His breath caught. Lena had worked on his ranch 20 years ago. Quiet, kind. Clara had helped her, packed her a bag, left money when she left suddenly pregnant. No one ever saw her again. Until now, Vince wasn't just a stranger. He was connected. A piece of the past Silas had forgotten. And suddenly it made sense. The anger, the violence, the emptiness in Vince's eyes. A boy raised without answers. A life built on silence. That night, Vince found himself walking, not thinking, just moving. His boots carried him down the dirt road towards Silas's ranch. He didn't know why. Maybe guilt, maybe anger, or maybe, for the first time in years, need. Silas heard the footsteps. He was already outside. Thunder stood nearby, ears alert. Vince stopped, 10 paces away. No words, just silence. Heavy, thick. I don't know why I'm here, Vince muttered. I don't owe you anything. Silas didn't flinch. You don't, he said calm. But maybe you owe yourself something. Vince looked away, jaw tight. Then his eyes fell on Thunder. The same horse. The one he kicked. Just a horse, he told himself. But Silas stepped forward. That horse, he said, voice low, was the last thing my wife gave me. He's all I have left of her. And you don't just walk into a man's life and trample the only thing keeping him standing. No yelling, no threats, just truth. Silas reached into his coat, pulled out the photo, held it out. Is this you? Vince stared. His hands trembled. That little boy, that foe, the memory hit him like a storm. His mother, tears in her eyes, the night she left. He'd spent his whole life hating shadows, men who weren't there. But now, here he was, facing one, and the man wasn't a monster. He was just tired, hurt, like him. Silas spoke again. Your mother worked here. We should have done more. We should have looked for her. But life, it gets busy. And grief, it makes you forget the living. Vince couldn't speak. His throat burned. He'd spent years running, hiding, fighting. But now, he felt something he hadn't in decades. Lost. Thunder stepped forward. Slow, calm, sniffed the air. Then gently touched his muzzle to Vince's hand. And something broke. Vince's shoulders dropped. His eyes filled. He didn't fight it. He let it come. The guilt, the sorrow, the weight of a lifetime of silence. Silas said nothing. Some moments don't need words. The next morning, Vince was still there. He didn't leave. He helped fix the fence, fed the animals, repaired the barn door. No one asked him to. He just did. Days passed. One evening, sitting on the porch, Vince looked at Thunder grazing in the field. He's strong, he said. I don't know how, after what I did. Silas sipped his coffee. Strength isn't about never being hurt, he said. It's about what you do after. And that horse, he chose to forgive you. That's not weakness. That's trust. Vince looked down at his hands. For the first time, he didn't feel like a stranger. That night, Vince stood in the barn, brushing Thunder's mane. The horse leaned into him, and Vince closed his eyes, breathing deep, not just of hay and dust, but of something he hadn't felt in years. Peace. Silas watched from the doorway. He didn't speak. He didn't need to. Some stories don't end with revenge. Some end with quiet, with understanding, with a man who once caused pain now helping to heal it, and maybe healing himself. Moral of the story. Pain passed down can become a cycle, but so can kindness. One act of courage, to face the truth, to stay, to change, can break the chain.